Hey guys, welcome. We are here at the Echo Bar with Erik Reichers. Erik, thank you for having us, man.
Man, thanks for coming.
So today we're going to share with you guys on how to create some samples, taking samples, and also how to utilize those in a session to make essentially your drum sounds sound more natural. So Erik, what do we got going on the kit today?
Basically, we've got SM57s on the snare, top and bottom, using a variety of different Lewitt mics on the rest of the kit. We've got some Lewitt condensers, small pencil condensers on the hi-hat and the ride.
Awesome.
And then we're using their dual element mic on the kick drum.
There's 640. Right?
The Rec 640. And
Love
then it's great. And then we're also using the condenser side of the Rec 640 on the floor tom. And then
Cool.
we're using the DTP 340 Rex on the rack tom.
Awesome. And we also got some new mics today, right? From the new 5040s from Audio Technica on our overheads, which are absolutely incredible.
Amazing. Yep.
And the brand new N8s for our rooms, which is just phenomenal sound. The body that it just adds to the room is incredible.
I don't know what Wes Dooley's doing over there, but yeah, those N8s sound incredible.
Yeah,
really,
some
really
kind
good.
of magician.
It's something in that big top hat he wears, I think.
It must be. It must be. All right, well, why don't we get right into it, man?
Cool, man. Cool. Okay, cool. So now that we're done, we've done getting our first recording. One thing that I always like to do is to get samples of the drum kit that I just recorded. And that's going to be important for a technique that we're going to show you later. Cole, when you're ready, let's go ahead and grab kick drum and snare drum and so forth. And let's get at least 5 or 6 different velocities. Yep, let's do snare drum. Cool. Do me a favor, turn the snares off on the snare drum, and let's do rack tom. Cool. And let's grab the floor tom. Cool. I think we got it. Now that you've recorded your samples, there's a couple of things you want to do to make sure that they are prepared properly for use in your replacement program. So let's get into it. What I like to use, this is one of the most convenient tools that Pro Tools has had forever. It's the tab to transient button up here, and this will help you get your samples cut correctly so that you can export them. You hit your tab key and you can zoom in and you can see your cursor comes right to the front of that waveform, And what's important to remember here is when you chop your samples, you want to make sure you get right to the front of that waveform. If you're all the way back here and you cut here, your drum replacement program will line up your sample here, and then you're going to have your sync is going to be off in your song. So it's real important that you trim these nice and close. Don't cut off the front of them, but get real close when you cut these, and it'll make your replacement process go a lot smoother. So I like to use tab to transient, and you can cut those, Command E, and as soon as you do that, you can zoom back out. And I like to capture a lot of the space at the end as well. You don't have to use it all, but I like to capture as much as I can. So I'll come up to the next sample, and I'll cut there. And now what you've got are these two samples. This is the kick, and I had two different elements on the kick. So first thing you want to do, after you've made this cut, you want to come down to the end, and you just want to put a little tiny fade on the end. If you don't do that, you could end up with a click or a tick or a pop at the end of your sample. And I might even back the fade up just a little bit in front of this next transient here, and that way you'll be sure that it doesn't have that click. And let's just play that. Let's solo this one and play it, and just make sure that that plays cleanly. Obviously, that's plenty of space on the end of that kick. There's plenty of fade on this, but right before you export, if you export this file just like this, the fade isn't going to go with it. So you need to consolidate this file, and that's a really simple thing to do. You can, funny enough, I always do it by key, but I think it's Option Shift 3, which it is. So Option Shift 3 on the Mac will consolidate that now. Now it has that fade burned in, and as you export this now, which is Command Shift K, you can come up with your export selections, and we'll choose wave, we'll choose 24-bit, and we'll choose 48. And I'm going to go with mono because this is a mono track. We're not going to export it as stereo because it's not stereo, it's mono. And you're going to keep it the same bit depth and sample rate that your original Pro Tools session is. And then just choose a folder that you like, so you know where you put your samples. I'm going to put them in here. I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it Drum Samples. And open, and export. And it's that simple. All right, so now that you've exported that sample, if you want to use some of the other microphones for that sample, you can easily scroll down, and this selection will stay the same. So for your room mics, you'll note that there's going to be a little bit of a delay between the transient of where the actual close mic starts and where the room mic starts. This will keep it natural the way that you track the song. So this sample would have a little bit of a delay in front of the actual kick. Some guys like to shift their room mics. Your call, your choice. But this is an easy way to edit the sample with the exact same amount of selection that you had on the close mics. So same thing, you'd cut it, fade it, and then you'd export it the same way that we just did. So now that you've exported all of your samples and got all your different velocities and all the different microphone choices made, next week we're going to show you how we use those samples to augment our drum recording, but still keep things sounding natural. So we'll see you next week.